is a historical, strategic and detailed communication between Firas Nasser, the founder of the co-creation movement, and the United States of America. In this communication, we will be discussing various issues, aiming by the end of this communication to get the help of President Donald Trump in establishing the co-creation movement as an intergovernmental organization and try to build a refuge for young people around the world from discrimination, from global conflicts, and to advance global SDGs. In this communication, we will talk about the advancement that has happened in life systems and the gap that exists in our lives today and how the co-creation can help. So we will name this communication the co-creation movement and life systems. So let's start. There are 4 systems that I will be discussing in this communication. The first one is the educational system. The second one is the work system. The third one is the social systems, how men and women meet and how they form families and how they actually form groups in various countries around the world. And finally, we will talk about global production and market systems, how the world is moving into a bipolar economic order with BRICS countries in one side and Western countries on the other side. So let us start with the educational system. The educational system has gone tremendous transformation, from the introduction to personal computers, to the introduction of the internet and search website, to the establishment of learning platforms such as Udemy and Coursera, where people are learning online, until our contribution has come by creating open access innovation platforms that help young people to be inspired and build businesses. And with the help of AI, now they can get various platforms, they can get a step-by-step tutorials on how they can build ventures in various areas. And finally, we will be moving to the next destination in our educational system, which is AGI, and building platforms in the city that can help young people with the help of AGI to build businesses and to build companies and to build ventures. In this part, the educational systems, I need to talk a little bit about the transformation that has happened across history, the educational transformations, and then I would need to talk about the episodes where the educational is dysfunctional. The education has gone through tremendous transformation through the introduction of personal computers where students do not have to handwrite their homeworks, but they type it on their computers and they do the calculations with Excel sheets, and to the introduction of search platforms and YouTube videos where students stopped learning from the school and their communities, but actually they are learning from their interaction with smartphones and screens and online platforms. Where students are learning from online platforms more than they are learning from their parents or the community. To the introduction of learning platforms such as Udemy and Coursera, where people are developing specialized learning in specific verticals, such as railway systems or autonomous cars, some domains that was not being taught in universities. Until we have reached the recent development of developing ChatGPTs, where you can ask ChatGPT any question and you can ask him to write emails for you and to help you in your research work. But the co-creation movement contribution was with building innovation platforms. Those logos and business ideas where young people can access these platforms and can actually try to be inspired on how they can build a business. Take the prompt and put it now on a ChatGPT and get a step-by-step instruction on how they can do that. But in building also the enablers, the communities, the design platforms, and much more innovation platforms that will help people move from people without independence to people who have business independence. And finally, which will be the next stage we will be heading to, and this is where I need the help of President Donald Trump, is to integrate AGI with the co-creation movement platforms, to try to build the co-creation movement at the city scale, to have access to machines, to have enablers for young people, so they can ask AGIs for recipes of success, and they can build businesses and become independent. So the educational objectives is moving from getting a certificate to actually being an independent person through building an independent venture and through building a family. So the objectives of your education is to be successful in life. And that success can be through financial success and social success. So your education should help you to build a family, and your education should help you to be independent financially. This is the first part that I need to talk about in terms of educational systems. The second part, I need to talk about dysfunctional educational episodes. In our life, there are many dysfunctional educational technology. The kindergarten and primary school still a functional educational episode. The human size is small, the brain is still being developed, and young kids, they need to learn basic language skills, basic math skills, and develop themselves slowly and have a sense of identity and a sense of the community around them. But moving on to the secondary school, where you see a complete dysfunctional episode, where school is not about knowledge anymore. It's about psychology and dealing with others and being part of the community. And many schools does not provide a supportive and a positive community, to the sense that some schools are not safe. So we need to build secondary education that is personalized, focused on what the students want, what is his strength, what he would like to learn. Then focus on building talents, making sure that we build a differentiated individual through talents, building psychological and social skills, because in a supportive community. And this is where the co-creation movement intervention is important. Moving on to the bachelor degree, which is another dysfunctional episode. There is no personalization. Many topics are being taught and rarely used in life. So you need more personalization in the bachelor degree. And many students cannot form groups or become part of groups in university, or even establish a family after the bachelor degree. So they earn a degree and they don't become independent, which is financially independent. They are still not able to build a business. They are dependent on sending their CVs to companies who might hire them or might not. They are still not able to build families. So we need to solve this by making sure that the objective of the bachelor degree is to start a family, is to be part of a larger community, is to gain basic financial independence. Moving on to the master's episode. And the master's episode is fine. You need this wide discussion on various knowledge. You need to build your knowledge width you know about politics, you know about economics, you know about geography, you know about geology, you know about physics, you know about astrology. So the master's degree is fine in building the breadth of knowledge. Moving on to the PhD, which becomes a completely dysfunctional episode. The old objective of PhD is to write an 80,000 words on a specific discipline, where one supervisor or two supervisors will be reading this PhD. It's become obsolete. I have authored 27 books in 2 months with the help of AI. Many PhDs are not novel ideas and they don't add much contribution to the society. Many PhD students are not influential and they lack the skills to broadcast their knowledge on a global scale. So the PhD is dysfunctional. You need to create people who are influential, who are innovative, who have a exceptionally differentiated personality. That this could be by themselves or with machines. This is the first part where we talk about educational systems. Today, people work from 9 to 5. Sometimes they are working in an abusive work environment. Sometimes they are working in countries where there is no job security. Sometimes they are working in jobs that they don't like. So this environment somehow changed the personality of individuals, and sometimes they feel trapped in a continuous cycle of waking up, going to work, and losing the meaning of life, where many of them stop seeing the meaning of life in their work, but they see the meaning of their life in their families. So this system can be augmented with other opportunities, with alternative opportunities. And those alternative opportunities can be provided by the co-creation movement, can be provided with a new work systems. And that sometimes people talk about the liberty to do work, and this is where the sharing economy and gig economy started to emerge, where you use an Uber car and some people used it actually. They started to work their own pace, they work on Uber, they earn some money, and the platform, Uber, deduct the money. And many sharing economy platforms will spread with time. But I think the right approach is to have the ability to form teams, to work on niche companies, and to build something sustainable for the long term. So let us move and talk about the current problems that we have in our social systems. So let us talk about social systems and some of the problems that some countries have in their social systems. I need to talk specifically about the relationship between men and women and the ability to make families or create families, and the relationship and the abilities to form groups. These two fundamental social aspects affect communities at large. So I have seen all kinds of strange arrangements between men and women, arranged family marriages, arranged university marriages, arranged army marriages, things that somehow does not reflect the basic narrative of meeting someone in a group of social clubs or social events, having the initial spark, having quick group of conversations and group of dates, feeling that the individuals like each other and taking the rational decision to start a family after assuring that both parties can address each other's needs. Somehow this aspect, this narrative disappeared from people's life, and in many cultures, the relationship between men and women is determined through arranged marriages and so on. So I think The co-creation movement can help in increasing the chances of young people meeting each other, increasing the chances of them working on novel projects that it can help them to be sustainable. And the second aspect that I need to talk about is the ability to form groups. In many countries and many cultures, many people can't form groups around, let me say, building a startup or building a team, or there are a lot of monitoring on how people can actually form groups. And you see this when they try to build political parties. I do think the co-creation movement clubs and how they bring people together might increase the chances of a group of founders working together and eventually produce sustainable ventures. What is needed at the moment is to build a co-creation movement at scale, so it provides an alternative option for people to how to meet, how they how they conduct their work, and how they can actually educate their kids and develop their kids, and finally how they can produce and build ventures. So I do think what is missing at the moment is building things at scale. Finally, I need to talk about market and production systems. The world is going through a bipolar economic order. It is slowly, China is growing as an economy, and there is the emergence of BRICS, which making a challenge for the dollar. So we understand that the world slowly will be moving to a bipolar economic order. In this bipolar economic order, in each segment, you can enhance the internal economies of these countries through building multinational teams that can help individuals access each other markets, access IPs, access machines, and be productive. And this is the core foundation of the co-creation movement. To try to build the multinational teams to access each other markets, to access machines and various, and to try to help each other prosper. And when it's within the block, within the agreed block, the block that politically is acceptable, these multinational teams can work. The second thing I need to talk about is vocational skills and gig economy. Many vocational skills are not organized, and many people are, especially when they are work as the carpenters, the tile, the people who work in construction. Sometimes these vocational jobs are not organized, and you really need to build a platform that can help people who work in vocational jobs and organize their work. And finally, I need to talk about the market drive. What will be driving this market forward? What will be driving this market forward is a real estate vision around building sustainable communities. It is around building sustainable habitats. It's around building hexes and hives that create a new social opportunities and new business opportunities for people, and to try to enhance the economies of various countries. So these are the current conditions of various life systems. And now I need to talk about the co-creation movement position and the implementation plan. So the co-creation movement started almost 2.5 years ago. We had the platform before. We tried to engage young people with the logos and maybe you build the business in this venture. There was no ChatGPT there. Some of the AI tools were not there. Some of the enablers, access to machines, access to robots, was not available. But now we see the potential. We see how with success stories that we have created in healthcare, in smart cities, in SDGs and various social issues, we started to see how those ventures can be successful. What is needed now is to try to implement the co-creation movement at a medium level scale. We can't be like some of the president executive orders, tariffs on Canada, tariffs on China, but we can try to really build medium-scale pilots, make the co-creation movement at a credible scale, that it looks like an alternative option that can augment the UN.